I like it. I like it a lot. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Our Parents' Basement. Thank you so much for joining us on your Thursday evening. We are back. I believe we did not have a show last week, and the week before I was unable to make it. So I am so glad to be back here with these basement dwellers and with all of you for another episode of lovely, nerdy fun. So, yeah. It's good to be back. I am Philip. I will be sort of hosting tonight. I think I'll be doing a fair amount of talking. With me this evening, we have the lovely Charles. And Charles, how's it going this evening?
Been doing all right. Keeping busy. School, work, and work. Kind of. Someone have 2 jobs now, ish.
2 jobs and a podcast.
2 jobs and a podcast in school.
Wow.
Sounds like something from the internet.
Yep.
2 jobs and a podcast.
He is a busy guy. Well, I'm
2
glad
jobs, 1 podcast.
2 jobs. Oh, no. Oh, gross. Throwback. Disgusting.
Oh, like you didn't watch it.
Of course I watched it. Who wouldn't watch it? I mean,
it was worse than a train wreck.
Watch this. I'm like, okay. Oh, can't turn away, but still.
I guess it would have been about 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Right. I had a Wii hooked up to the big screen TV in the living room, and the Wii had the browser. So, of course, what do? You wait till you have a New Year's Eve party at your house with a house full of people, and you turn that on, your Wii, because you're a horrible person.
Because you're yeah. Those were different times.
People were like, "What is? Oh, what? Hey, how you doing?
Oh no!" Gross. And speaking of that, we also got Turf here with us this evening. Turf, how's it going this evening?
Man, I am a horrible person. That's man, honestly, I'm tired. I bit off a little too much on a project.
Yeah.
I am
how's that going?
And dirty. Did you see the pictures of it?
I did.
I'm busy. I'm building or working on a new game room / podcasting studio, and it's going. It's slow. Sheetrock / drywall is a horrible thing. I hate it, and I have a new appreciation for anybody who does that because it's an art.
Yeah,
I suck at it.
You know what you need? An 80s style montage.
I do need a montage.
It'll be done.
I need a montage.
And Gorilla Glue. That's all you need. Gorilla Glue. Just glue this shit to the wall.
The walls were together. He just needs them sanded. Yeah.
The sanding and mudding and filling holes, and I'm usually filling holes is one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah.
Not in this one. I mean, I fill all kinds of holes.
Yeah.
But this is just man putting those muddy holes.
Say holy shit.
Those muddy holes. But yeah, I've been mudding and sanding and being filthy. And last night I came in and I had sheetrock dust. I don't know if anybody out there has ever done sheetrock or
never.
Drywall. Dust goes everywhere, and it's white. It's gypsum dust. And I look like that scene from Scarface after he lays his face down on his desk and has the coke everywhere. That's what I looked like. I looked like
Al Pacino.
I look just like Al Pacino.
You're like Jack Nicholson after a good night.
Like in the Departed. Yeah, it was awful. It's terrible. Everything's been really fun to do. Like hanging the sheetrock was fun. The wiring, the insulation, all that. I was getting stuff accomplished, and then I got to this sheetrock business, and I'm like, it just brought me to a standstill. I'm thinking, we'll do this, and by Friday I'll be painting, and then this weekend I'll do floors, and then trim early next week, and I'll be done. No,
nope. It's just you, though. Is it just you, or you have some help, right?
Me and Angie, we've been doing it.
Yeah.
I had a buddy come over this weekend and help me hang in the sheetrock because it's kind of heavy.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been us.
Well, keep up the good work. I cannot wait to see the finished product.
Me neither.
Yeah, I know you can't. I know you can't. Well, before we begin, I got to ask you, Turv, what spurred this idea of yours?
Well, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
Sold my house. And I got to be out. So there's not enough room in her house because we'll have 3 kids there.
Mm-hmm.
2 teenage girls and a 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really have a whole lot of room. So we're going to go ahead and put daddy's stuff out in the backyard. We got us a little Amish building, an Amish style barn cabin thing. and they delivered it last Friday, and I've been busting my hump trying to get it done. But whew.
Yeah, it
So there we
sounds
go.
like
That's like I won't be talking about my girlfriend anymore before long. So
she'll be. Is she
I'm talking
no,
about the wife, the lady?
Technically, she's your fiance now, yeah.
Yeah, she has been for the last long time ago.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't know the date?
It's about no, I don't. And to be honest with you, Charles, she probably doesn't either.
That's
So-
fine. That's like the best
So
way
it
it works.
It was
Sometimes.
last summer sometime.
It's like Jen and I, like whenever we start dating, like we have no fucking idea. It just happened.
You just did. Yeah, you don't need a date as long as you're happy. I mean, pick it, or you can pick a random date that you guys just like and you'll easily remember. Celebrate on
did.
that day.
We picked a random date. It was a date of this local newspaper, like entertainment magazine, that had Switchfoot on the cover.
Switchfoot.
Yeah,
Months and months and months.
The old like band from the 2000s, early 2000s.
yeah. They were on the cover, like, there's a date. And that's
Okay
what we
then.
went with.
Sweet romance on, folks. Switchfoot.
Switchfoot. I have not heard that name in a long time.
Like, somebody was
Talk about
talking to me
nostalgia.
about Trapped.
Trapped. Oh, that's another one. That's a good one too. I like Trapped more than Switchfoot, obviously, but yeah, this is bringing all kinds. Oh man, this is bringing it back to VH1.
And I've never listened
Days.
to Switchfoot. I can't even name a song. I don't even know what the fuck they sound like.
I can't. I remember some of their songs. I just don't remember their song names, but
I've seen them in
Yeah.
concert.
you seen Switchfoot in concert, really?
Yes.
How were
Yes.
they?
I believe they opened up for Stain. No, not Stained. They opened up for somebody that I saw. Who was okay? The dude that dated the chick from Evanescence, Amy Lee.
Mm-hmm.
They did a song together. What band was that?
Oh, like
Either.
what one?
Either.
It's either
Yeah, the band
like
Seether. I
Pokemon.
can't remember the guy's name. But anyways, he was dating the chick from Evanescence. Anyway, they Switchfoot opened up for Seether. somewhere.
Cool.
I think in Little Rock.
Wow, man, these bands. If they're played on like the top 40 stations, they're not really like hardcore rock or punk or whatever, but they were still fun, and I love watching their videos on VH1 back in the day.
Man, in the early 2000s, probably like 2005 to 2000, well, probably 2000 to 2012 ish.
Okay.
I saw a lot of bands. Oh, I went all over watching, because that was something I just really enjoyed doing, especially
Concerts.
before Isaac came along.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed going to concerts. Me and a group of friends, we would load up and we'd go to Kansas City. We might go to
Memphis.
Lexington, Kentucky, Memphis. I've been to a concert in Nashville. I've been to St. Louis, Dallas. Just like this
Yeah.
giant 8-hour circle that we would go to concerts in. So I've seen, Lord, there's no telling. I've seen everything from like Aerosmith, Cheap Trick.
Cheap
to-
Trick. That's awesome.
The
I've seen a
biggest
Vince
stand out of
Sevenfold.
Rockford.
Who's it?
You
What's
what?
that?
Cheap Trick, the biggest thing out of Rockford, Illinois.
Exactly.
And Ginger Lynn, she came from there too.
I don't even know who that is.
Porn star.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've seen Avenged Sevenfold either 10 or 11 times.
Sevenfold.
Seen
They're
Metallica
awesome.
twice. Seen Metallica 3 times. Seen Korn 4 times. So
Damn.
yeah, there's a lot of metal bands.
Concerts.
I went
yeah.
to a bunch. Like if it was big and they had a big showing or big album in that time frame, I probably saw them.
Someone likes their music.
I just went to a lot of punk shows around here in Chicago.
At least you had Chicago. I had to put in some legwork, man.
Yeah, they had a.
Actually,
Charles, what was that, Charles?
I did travel to St. Louis for one show, go see the Templars, and they rarely leave New York City.
Because all you have to do really first to see a punk show is just hop on the bus and you're there, right?
Pretty much, or just
Yeah, Turf had to like load up, I'm sure, like coolers and tents. And,
Oh no, come on, man. We'd load up like 6 deep in a hotel room. But
even worse.
we went to St. Louis one time, and all right, Papa Turf's going to tell a hypothetical story because it may or may not be illegal.
Oh, Kurt.
There were some gentlemen one time that loaded up 3 carloads worth of people and went to St. Louis to see the Summer Sanitarium Tour. at about 2002.
Okay.
What Metallica headlining with Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Deftones, Mudvayne. I think that may have been it.
Okay.
Anyways, so we decided the concert's like at 3:00 and it takes about, let me back up. These people decided that they should leave that morning because the concert started about, they would open the doors at 3. I think it started maybe at 4 or something like that. So they decided they would leave by 9 in the morning to get there. Well, some of these people that may or may not have been driving decided it was a great idea to start drinking 1 hour from the house at 10 in the morning, driving 80 miles an hour down the interstate.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
I was going to say, it's never too early to start, but if you're driving, then yes, it is.
Yeah, it's always too early to start if you're driving. But yeah, that was one for the record books. We passed somebody, gave them the old cheers, and our buddies were like, and this was before like everybody had a cell phone and there were such things as roaming at the time.
Roaming.
Oh, God.
I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably realize what roaming is, but if you don't, roaming was a thing like until the late 2000s, like 2007, 8, 10, something like that. If you got outside of your little area with a cell phone, you were charged a crazy amount of money to use it. Like, dude, I can't call nobody. I'm roaming.
Yep, we can't do. Yeah, data charges. We're roaming.
I'm roaming. I can't be doing that. So, somebody that may or may not have been involved in this story, alleged hypothetical situation, decided it was a good idea to get Motorola walkie-talkies.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were walking.
This is before apps and like, there was
text
no
Discord chat.
Yeah,
there was no FaceTime on this. There was Motorola walkie-talkie. Breaker 19, how you doing? But it was just two-way radios, so we were just talking like truckers for the heck of it. I mean, they were definitely not involved.
Well, that's what you do with walkie-talkies.
So there you go. This person drove to St. Louis to see the Summer Sanitarium tour and was drinking all day long, starting at about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Behind the wheel. That's a takeaway from this. Behind the
wheel. Yeah, that was well, you're drinking. These people may or may not have been drinking Bud Light on the way to St. Louis, where Budweiser.
At least it's Bud Light because that's not that strong stuff, but still, God, I could only picture like if I could see your buddy like cheersing someone and like, oh, that was an undercover, park ranger. Oh shit.
Well, we were cheersing each other, or these people were cheersing each other. People they knew. Okay. I keep saying that like I was there. I mean, don't you hate it when you've told a story so many times you feel like you were there? Yeah. It's just you become part of it. So
yeah,
I wasn't definitely not there,
but
sorry, it didn't even really happen.
Yeah, it didn't really happen. Yeah, when I went to St. Louis at the punk show,
yeah,
I was there in St. Louis all day. I was tired. By the time I'm at the punk show, coming toward the end, band's playing. They have they have a comfy chair in there. I sit in their hardcore punk chair. I fall asleep. In a punk show.
That's rough, man.
So you were really tired, or they were really boring, or
no, I was just really tired. I could sleep anywhere. So
yeah, that's good talent to have.
And they don't really have to tour. Like the drummer or the founder of the band, he's an actual doctor.
Oh, cool! That's awesome.
Which is the thing, like all these punk bands, like a lot of these guys have like doctorates and masters and shit.
They're fighting the power by getting degrees.
It's like lead singer of Offspring. He has a PhD in molecular biology.
Lead singer of who?
The Offspring.
Like, what's his name?
Dexter Holland.
For a white guy.
Yeah.
Really? I thought he was dead.
No.
You sure?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he passed.
No, that was the dude from Sublime that died with a needle in his arm. Never mind.
That was a while ago too. Sublime, they became famous after his death, like more famous.
Yeah. It was like one of those cult things, like like Super Troopers or Half Baked. Nobody cared when that was in theaters, but man, you followed it after the fact.
Yeah.
Because in the theaters, you couldn't watch that stuff while smoking a bowl.
Yes. Well, right. I actually saw. I'm one of like the only people I know. Me and the girl that I was with are the only people I know that saw Super Troopers in theaters.
I saw Super Troopers on a TV in the bar at the fireside for a punk show.
I just saw it on DVD, so I mean,
No cool story.
no cool story for me. No,
Well,
I was eating pancakes at the time. I remember that because
Me and this lady,
Yeah.
I had a friend. Her name was Lindsay. And we were just friends. We were really good friends in college. She was let's see. I'll just say it. She was a bisexual, and she
Mhm.
would like to help me pick up girls, and that was an awesome thing in college. So, anyways, that's what we hung out a bunch, and we sat down to go see Super Troopers, and Britney Spears' Crossroads came on.
oh
And we
man,
looked at each other and
win-win.
went, "Oh, dog, we got to go." So we got up and left, but I almost saw Britney Spears movie Crossroads instead of
Yeah.
Super Troopers.
Crossroads was fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's Britney Spears plays a valedictorian going to med school, so believable.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I love Britney. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a huge Britney fan, but I mean, come on.
Leave Britney alone.
Leave-
Leave Britney alone.
Christ!
Jeez, Charles, that
That
kind of
really upset her.
Yeah.
Screaming
Well,
Oh.
now we're so. Anyways, yes.
Sorry.
What's the train of thought? Anyways, Jason,
Brittany?
tonight you had a topic idea. Bring it back. Focus, guys, focus.
Oh.
And we're gonna start. We kind of got derailed there about music and concerts, which is cool. But this is our parents' basement. We are gamers. So, Turf, tell us a little bit about this topic you thought of.
Well, I can't even take credit for this.
Oh, yeah.
I thought of
It
the
wasn't.
topic because Charles said it.
Yeah,
Then,
I
you know
said
what?
it.
Charles, that goes to you. My bad. I thought it was Turf. Charles, you have good ideas too.
Charles has the good ideas. I just say them louder.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Japanese me, I guess. I said it, but no, I'm gonna be quiet. No, but yeah, it was. I have this idea how the collecting trends shift over time. In the past at least 10, 15, 20 years is when retro gaming has started to get big. It's like shifting.
Mhm.
Atari, NES, Super Nintendo. Now it's starting to drift into N64, PS1 a bit. So it's always changing. So
Yeah.
I was thinking why it's doing that. Well, look at who's starting to graduate college now and then be in their,
I
their
think that's a
mid
lot
to
of
late
it.
20s.
It's when these people get disposable income. When I started collecting, people that grew up with the NES didn't have that disposable income, so I was getting stuff dirt cheap. And then like the guys my age, they got to be here. I was 25 or so, and I'm starting to pick these things up just by the bucket loads. And this would have been about 2006. So I'm just grabbing stuff by the armloads. I'm going into pawn shops like, hey, they're like, oh, $1 a piece. I said, well, how about I give you $20 for that 30 games? Like, yeah, take it.
Mhm.
So I'm getting all kinds of these crazy deals, finding all kinds of games that I didn't even know were rare. Like I picked up a game called Cowboy Kid. I've got it complete, game and manual and all that. And it's really sought after. A really hard to find game. People really like it, but I don't. You got a really real short knife that you're kind of stabby with. But anyways, I was picking stuff like that up that I'd never heard of just because I was like, man, this looks kind of cool. It looks like Burt Reynolds on the front and Tonto. So I'd grab it, and then come to find out years later, these things are, when more and more people got into it, more and more people had disposable income, more and more adults, they had extra money to throw around. The prices started going through the roof.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of the hallmark of this is. Before us, it was Atari.
Yeah.
Video games. Before that, it was toys, lunch boxes. Whatever these people had when they were growing up, they kind of want to grab a hold of their childhood again.
So your guys are suggesting that now we're in like the era where those that grew up with PS1, Saturn, N64, those are the ones that are going to start to go.
I'm going to say Nintendo 64 is already on the rise. The prices are. And if you get a good working controller, an original
64?
controller, yeah, for Nintendo 64, because those things are all wore out from Mario Party.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They're those you can already get like $25 for a good original controller.
You know, I go to I can't find original controllers now at the game shop. They're starting to get hard to find here in Chicago. You know, like
how can you tell if it's
5-6 years ago, I could get them. I did have a Nintendo 64. I had no reason to get one, but now.
You want one.
You know, the Nintendo 64 controller looks like a Trident / butt plug looking thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it looks like a marital aid, if you will. But the new, like the Yobo and the whatever else, look identical. Except for where the Nintendo logo on the front is just an oval with nothing written in the middle.
So that's the only difference?
That's the only difference.
Oh, okay.
I think they used the same mold. They just had to.
You can't even hardly tell the difference.
They had to machine out.
They're a little bit lighter, but they don't put Nintendo on there in the copyright. You know, like they would. Okay. But they look, because I've been looking for the gold Nintendo 64 for a while. There's one that's it was a Toys R Us exclusive. And I've got all the other colors, the futuristic series and all that. I've even have the Pokemon one, but I don't have the gold one. It was, like I said, Toys R Us exclusive. It's been kind of pricey. I've watched it go up more and more. I'm like an idiot. Should have bought it when it was $80 instead of 120. But I find that gold controller all the time because apparently Yobo, that was one of the big colors that they sold, was gold. So I stumbled. I was like, man, here's one with a gold controller. Like, oh, not again. It's the knockoff.
Interesting. I always thought 64 games were always pricey. Like whenever I'm at a game store, those cartridges or if they're complete, they're always in like some sort of display behind the glass casing. Like they never seem to actually go down in price at all. I'm not a big 64 person.
Well, they did.
What's up?
They kind of went down for a little while, but then when Nintendo 64 started losing popularity, it was about 2002, like the GameCube would have been early 2000s. You know, so Nintendo or NES had that big drop from Nintendo. You know, nobody wanted it, and then Super Nintendo, people were like, I really don't want that. And then the Nintendo 64 was around, and it never dropped off as far as the other ones. Like NES got down to be like, it'd be like $1 a game. Super Nintendo got down to like, that's a little newer. We might have $3 a game. 64 never really got down to like, it got like to like $7 for most of the games, maybe $5 for the sports games. And that's just my experience going to game stores. It never really dipped down below $5 for even a common game, even sports or racing, which is half the library. There's the crazy ones that like the wrestling games that are really good, but you can find a bunch of them. You can find a bunch of Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which is another excellent game. Perfect Dark and 007 all four of those are really good games, but they're all $5.
Okay.
For the Nintendo 64, but they never really got just super, super cheap. Like there's a fishing game that might have got down to that $1 to $3 range, but the vast majority of it didn't drop down below $5 because the secondhand stores started popping up, and I guess collecting took off. I don't know.
Interesting. I'm not a big 64 person. I only have 2 games for it, and one was part of a trade. The other I found this one was very, very lucky. It's the Overbattle 64. I found it for $5 at a used game store, and that was a steal. I know. I don't think the guy knew what he had. I think he just lumped all 64 things together, and but everything else is kind of priced accordingly. So I got crazy lucky. But this is interesting because a while ago I thought about, going for a complete set of Saturn games. I figured that if I already overcame the Panzer Dragoon Saga hurdle, I was like well on my way because, I got that one and I should be good. Every Saturn game I've come across would range from, $11 for like some shovelware title to $300, $400. Right. Ridiculous. So I think I'm not gonna go for a full set. I love the Saturn. It's part of that generation, PS1, 64 era, but collecting for it, it's not fun. It's expensive.
You know, I've been talking like I have all the answers about, you know, all this. Another thing that I think is happening is people got either done or frustrated with NES. NES was the first thing that people, well, not the first, so people did Atari, but the one that got really, really big was like, dude, I want all the Nintendo games. I'm going to get a complete set. That's like where complete set started, right?
Yeah.
And then people moved on to, well, maybe I'm not a NES guy. Maybe I'll jump on to get the Super Nintendo stuff. And then, but the Super Nintendo games had like Hagane and Wild Guns, and there was all these, and then all those
freaking Hagane, seriously.
The role playing games that were between $50 and $100 and always have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chrono Trigger's
always
never been cheap.
Nope. Sure
Earthbound has never been cheap. Like
ridiculous.
Hagane and Metal Warriors and like Arrow Fighters, they got cheap. They were probably, if I had to guess, you could have, if you'd have known to look for them,
you found them.
Found one for $20.
Yeah.
You never, ever got a Chrono Trigger for $20.
I want to know, like with Hagane, we're kind of getting off topic here. How did that one, like who said, hey, this is rare, let's charge it for $500?
I think it's a good game if you're into that. I've never played Hagane. I've seen videos of it, but I've never played it. I think it's pretty good, and I think it was a super limited release.
Okay.
I think those are the things. Wild Guns, I don't know because I played Wild Guns and I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that third person, like over the shoulder shooting, and it didn't do it for me.
Okay.
And like Arrow Fighters is a shooter, which you, especially being into Saturn stuff, you know, shooters get crazy expensive, and I don't know why.
Yeah. I always wondered that too. Like shmups or bullet hells, whatever you want to call them. There's a ton of them on the Saturn, and they are about as expensive as, you know, like a Shining Force 3 or a Panzer Dragoon's Way. It's a little weird to see because those games are over so quickly. And I guess they're fun. They're fun for, like, to me, 5 minutes, and that's it. Oh, I got a game over. I'm done. I'll play something else.
I'm not into them. People are, but the people that do get into them, they love shooters. Or I refuse to say the word shmup.
Shmup.
I just don't. I won't. It's like saying Ness. I don't like saying Ness.
Oh, I don't say Ness, but shmup is fun. It sounds like schmuck. Don't be a schmuck.
Don't be a schmuck playing that schmucky game, you schmup.
But I think, I don't know, people that get into those, get into the shoot 'em ups, if you will, they get really into them. And
there's some folks in VG Collect who get into them.
They're just huge into those things.
Reading what they say about them, like, damn, these guys love this stuff. I think it's fun to see. I mean, and it's really fun to watch a video of someone doing really well at them. That's cool, but I don't have the patience for them. So
it's just not my cup of tea. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, so that's some money saved. So, question for both of you then: has your, like, with time passing on, you know, the whole collecting of video games shifts, you know, the interests obviously shift. Have your personal interests shifted as well?
I just want everything. Fortunately, that's why it's
fortunately
like,
or unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's why it's like, ooh, that's a good price on some television shit. That's why I got all this television crap now.
And you can watch them unboxing those on our channel.
Yes.
For me, of course, yes. I started off, I was collecting NES games. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't stop collecting NES games. And I let a lot of things go. Like, I remember one thing that I let pass was a Mega Man Soccer. I was like, I was thinking, well, I'll let that go. And it was $5. Maybe it was $7. It was less than 10. I said, I'll just leave that laying for somebody that really wants it. That's cool.
Yeah.
It was on the shelf in a game exchange in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And the manager said, well, I got a Mega Man Soccer over there. You know, that'd be cool to have. So, yeah, well, you know, I just want NES stuff. I'm going to leave that laying. And this is about the same time that I gave my brother all of our Super Nintendo games and I took the NES games. So I left that one laying, and that's kind of stuck out for a long time. I didn't buy it again. It was like about $35 when I bought it. So I bought Mega Man Soccer off of eBay it was $35, but less than $40. So I do have it now, but I left one laying because my tastes were I was laser beamed NES. And then when everything started opening up, and like, well, I'm going to start collecting Super Nintendo games now because NES games are getting hard to find. It's getting harder for me to find something I need. And then I went, hey, there's some pretty cool games on the Genesis. I need Castlevania Bloodlines. I need this. I need that. I need Mutant League Football. So I started buying a few Genesis games. And then next thing you know, I've got a bunch of Genesis games. And then I was like, hey, our kid down the street had a Sega Master System. Eric Wall, if you happen to stumble across this, thank you for your Sega Master System having. My first introduction to Ghostbusters, sitting there in your bedroom. So I started collecting Master System stuff, and I really got into that. It's like, man, I'm going to get all the Master System games. And then I came across trying to find Golden Axe Warrior, and I said, I'm not going to try to get all the Master System games anymore. Oh, because it's not crazy expensive, but it's more than I want to spend for something I'll probably never play. And then I decided I wanted to get boxes for my NES games. And then I decided not to because apparently Nintendo paper cardboard is made out of gold. It's like reverse alchemy.
Yes.
It was gold. It's worth gold, but it's not gold. It's paper.
Alas.
Man, like I said, I've been doing this since about 2004, 5, 2000 something. While I was in college, somewhere between 1999 and 2005 is when I started. And it has changed and shifted and grown and shrunk. And I started buying toys. Then I had to say, Jason, don't buy toys because you're getting too much stuff. Then I started buying comic books. And Jason, you don't need comic books. So I just bought Nintendo comic books. And then I said, I'm going to get all the Nintendo powers. And then I was robbed of all the Nintendo powers. So I said, you don't need to buy any more Nintendo powers. So yeah, it's shifted. It's come full circle. I finished the
So
NES.
is that a yes then? It shifts?
Yes, the short answer is yes, it shifts.
We don't do short answers in our parents' basement.
I don't even know that there was an answer in there. That was just a big circle of words.
That's very you're pressing for politics. You
danced completely around the question.
You answered the question, but you didn't answer the question.
I leave you going, yes, exactly. That's how I feel. And he didn't say anything at all.
How do you feel about national policy with the economy? And you just then you talk about what you just talked about with the.
Let me tell you. Here's how video games go.
See, when I started in 2006, going for Nintendos, then we're like then like 5 minutes later, and and that's why I went back to Nintendo, and then the moderator's like, So how do you feel about national? That was one, but no,
I'm dumb to listen to your answer, sir.
I get your saying. I get your saying.
My collecting and acquiring stuff. It goes from like bike shit, video game stuff, camera shit. So I go and
you have other vices. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I just
expensive vices, no less.
My own collecting has gone through a bunch of different phases, a bunch of things that I'm really into.
Mm-hmm.
And then things that like I thought I was really into that I'm not that into, but it all comes back to I have my NES stuff. I was going to get a complete Nintendo 64 collection for a while. I'm probably not going to do that now. I was going to get a full Virtual Boys collection, which I very well may do.
Well, that's easy. Just like what, 7 games?
16.
16, close enough.
So
Jack Brothers and Waterworld are the only two like expensive barriers of entry. Last time I checked,
it's not even that bad. Like you can buy a whole collection for I think like $700.
Yeah,
it's like you buy the Virtual Boy itself. You got half the collection already.
Yeah.
It's like the Vectrex. There's not much there. It's like maybe 40 games for the Vectrex.
I don't know if I ever really I never really became a collector per se. I just like video games and just held on to the things I liked. But there are franchises that I get interested in that that kind of like slip under my radar until years on the road. So then if that happens, then I'll start like hunting for those, and I'll get like the laser vision and look for a good deal here or there. But as far as system, other than that like brief moment of maybe I should go for all the Saturn things. I just collect what I want. I really don't have like a specific system to collect for.
Yeah, I just like acquiring systems because it's it's cool to have a little bit of each. It's
my collecting now is I want the really collectible stuff. I gave up. I don't like for the Dreamcast. I actively try to find stuff for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't want the movie stuff. I don't want the sports games. I have a way more curated collection of that. Like I was looking for Cannon Spike for a long time because it looked interesting to me. It's more about what I think I would enjoy and what's maybe not even a fun game, but is interesting. Does that make sense?
There are some really interesting looking games on the Saturn too. Like you already have Cannon Spike, and then there's this game called Mars Matrix, which looks like fun. There's something called it's like some bullet hell game, which seems really cool. The Dreamcast seemed kind of like a experimental console, so there's lots of unique things to experience on there.
Well, in my opinion, and this is just some jackhole talking, the Dreamcast was where the arcade and home console actually crossed.
Yeah.
It was where they were the same system. Up until you started off, arcades way up here, home consoles down here. And they both kind of went up, but arcades, let's get back down here. And then arcades went up slower, and then home consoles were faster. And the Dreamcast is where they intersect. It's where home consoles became as powerful as what you could go put a quarter in.
Yeah. Some of the older arcade games, I would think the ColecoVision got the closest to them.
Okay. Yeah.
ColecoVision was pretty darn powerful, but it's one of the more finickier systems out there. If your power cord is not plugged in just right, it doesn't work too well.
Turf, do you have Crazy Taxi?
I do have Crazy Taxi. I have Crazy Taxi too.
If you mean, I think you already are well on your way to having a good Dreamcast collection. If you have those.
I do have a good Dreamcast collection. I have a lot of very, very fun games.
Yeah.
And they're the games that I enjoy playing and that are interesting. Like I have Hydro Thunder and I love it. I have Street Fighter Alpha 3. Is that the other
that's a good Street Fighter too.
I have, and this sounds weird, but it's one of my favorites on the Dreamcast is Sega Bass Fishing. If you've never played it with the Bass Fishing controller, you're missing out.
I want to try that with the controller.
I don't know where my controller is. It's around here somewhere.
But you have one.
But you can throw. I have one, and you reel it in. It's a blast. It's the only way to play that game.
Take that, Wii Fishing. Is there Wii Fishing?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
That's the only way to play that game. It is so weird. I don't know. It's just like it's an arcade game. It is that Sega fishing game, Sega Bass Fishing Arcade, the exact same thing in a home console.
Well, with the Dreamcast, you brought up an interesting idea. That's another console that has some really expensive games that started out expensive and never went down. So collecting for that, the interest for that is I don't think there's ever going to be unless you're a huge Dreamcast fan, I don't know if anyone's ever really going to want to go for like a full set.
Well,
those
the disc-based games, I think where I may be wrong and I may be but I think that disc-based games are where collecting falls off.
How you mean?
Well, I think that there are people that want the survival horror PlayStation games, or people want all the role-playing games, or they want all from some company, but there's very, very few people that just collect just tons of PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
Now, this is comparatively speaking, compared to people that want to get a big collection of NES games.
Yeah.
It's there when you hit disc-based games, and this is just my observation and one a-hole talking, there was way more sports games, there's way more shovelware, there's way more movie tie-ins. How many games are in the PS1 library? Like,
oh man,
it's something stupid, like 4,000 or something crazy.
1,275,700,000.
0.7, there's a 0.7 game that must have been like the sampler packs they sent out.
Yeah,
I remember those.
I got one of those.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah, those were cool. I remember when
Like,
we
you
got our
gotta play
PlayStation, we got like a little sampler game. We had Crash Bandicoot, Pitfall, like the new Pitfall,
Twisted Metal.
Maybe it had the first stage of Parappa the Rapper.
We had a different one.
Had a video of Saga Frontier, which ultimately became my favorite game of all time. So I mean, those were great. I love those.
I got one of those somewhere, and I just put it in my CD player just to play the music.
Oh, they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They had CD sound. It was like there were regular CDs, but half the disc was just data, and the other half the disc was music.
Cool. I did not know that. I think I have a few around here somewhere. I'm going to try that. So do you guys see your collecting interests shifting in the future as you continue this hobby?
Probably. I'm into everything, unfortunately, because I just want to get as much crap as I can. It's cool.
Do you intend to play all this crap?
Yeah, most of it.
Okay.
I just need time to play this crap.
Yeah.
Don't we all, man?
Isn't that an interesting thing? You're growing up. You don't have that much money. You have lots of time to play the few games you have. You're grown up. You have money. You buy games, but you don't have time to play them.
If I got a lower number in the lottery for the fire department test, could have gotten the academy, got on the fire department, and I had the time to play the games.
Yeah.
24 hours on, 48 hours off. Then my fourth scheduled workday, get that off. So, working a firehouse maybe, 8 to 10 days a month.
Well.
We'll do it. Buddy can dream. What about you, Turv? You think your interests are going to shift down the road?
Yes, because they just by the patterns of the past.
Okay.
I don't see myself trying to get all the Switch games. I don't see myself trying to get all the Wii. Like, I had a minute where I was collecting Wii games, and it was fun because they were super cheap.
Oh yeah.
I've kind of been slipping around and buying Xbox games, like original Xbox games.
Sure.
And it's kind of accidentally turning into a thing. But there's not as many that I want there's not as many there that I think I need, as opposed to like Super Nintendo, where I probably do need to have ESPN Baseball Tonight in the box, which I don't know why I have it. It came with some other stuff, I'm sure, but I don't have the memories, I guess, with it. That's fundamentally what this is trying to grab a piece of her childhood, right?
Ultimately, for a lot of like older things, yes. I would say so.
Maybe not for your role-playing games, because you enjoy the story, right?
Yeah.
But for a lot of these, the only reason I would have Disney's Aladdin is because
well, that's fun though.
It's a super fun game.
Yeah, it's fun.
But would it be that fun if I hadn't have had it when I was a kid?
I don't know. Like, maybe your little one would enjoy playing it with you, because I know like little kids love. I mean, I think everyone loves Disney, but they're geared towards children, so maybe that would be another thing to consider.
I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Maybe not guilty pleasure, but that's something I do, man. I really enjoy Disney like kid games. Aladdin for the Genesis is really good. Aladdin for the Super Nintendo is really good. I don't really like either one of the Lion Kings, but that's a horse of a different color.
You actually made me think of something. Like, there's a game that we talked about this a while ago. It's for the PlayStation. It was the game that I reviewed for the first time ever, and I kind of want to get it back just to have that piece of gaming memory there. It's not a good game. I doubt I play it much, but having the game that gave me an interesting writing my opinions on screen, I think that'd be cool to own. So
absolutely, man. I don't know how you turn loose of it to start with, but you're talking to a guy that
this is Uncle Land era, where you get to trade things in because he's Poe. So that's how.
Funko Land. Oh god, I remember Funko Land. I don't think I ever went to one.
Funko Land, Babbage's.
Hold
which I
on,
call-
they had a Funko Land around you?
Yeah.
Me or Charles?
Either one of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Man, oh man.
What'd you have?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I had pawn shops. I had flea markets. Maybe that's why so much stuff was in pawn shops and flea markets, because we didn't have anything, man. And there was a Funko Land. I don't even know where one was. I really don't even know if there was one anywhere close to me. There was until Game Exchange came along.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a used game store anywhere that I knew. I mean, there was used games at EB Games, and there was a Babbage's in Little Rock. They sold a few used games, but they were in software, etc. But that was mostly computer.
Oh,
games,
I like
right?
the name of that one. That's fun.
See, software, etc., Babbage's, and GameStop, and isn't there another one? But they all turned into GameStop.
What was that other one? I mean, EB, Electronics Boutique, they're kind of the same
Electronics
thing.
Boutique, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because in GameStop, EB Games in Canada still.
Actually,
Maybe.
I think
you might be right about. I remember passing one leaving Toronto. This was 10 years ago, but this was by 10 years ago, still GameStop was everywhere. There was nothing else. So, yeah, I think you're right.
So I think software, etc., got bought up by Babbage's. They got bought up by GameStop, and then Electronics Boutique got bought up by GameStop. I believe that's how that worked. But no, I didn't have a Funko Land. Never stepped foot in one. It would have been really cool to see bunches of old Nintendo games whenever that was past the being a thing.
Yeah, what I liked about Funko Land, their advertising shtick was try the game before you buy it. I'm like, that's an awesome idea. Yes.
I don't mind if I do.
Yeah. So, 1 hour later, so you're going to buy it? Nah, I don't think I like it that much. My parents had to drop me off while they went shopping. That's all. So,
You weren't the first person that did that.
oh God, no. I mean, those guys at Funko Land, I remember this. They were all like so chill. They didn't care. They just loved video games, and that's what it's all about. I mean, if you're going to have a part-time job, at least do it being around things you love. So,
Absolutely.
Well, anything else to add to this topic before we wrap it up?
Man, I don't know. Things constantly change, and I think on the world as a whole, things are steadily changing. I don't know what's next. I don't know what the next craze is. I don't know if whole nother topic, but I'm going to start it anyways, even though we're late in the show. There's not a bubble, folks. There's not a bubble that's going to burst. It's not happening. So quit sitting around waiting for the prices are too high. The bubble's going to come crashing down, and people are going to be left with 47 Earthbounds in their hand. Yeah, they may have 47 Earthbounds, but they're not going to sell them for $10 a piece.
No.
Earthbound will never, ever, 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 ever get lower than probably $120.
Ridiculous.
Sorry. It's like $180 right now or something like that.
I don't know how much it is, but
People,
that's so funny
for
to me.
years, and I was one of them, was speculating like, oh well, games are too high. People are going to get out. Man, that moment's already passed where like people were getting in it trying to make money. Now they're the new toy collectors. There's still toy collections out there. So there's going to be the games like Contra that got crazy high. They got up to Contra nearly got up to $40. Contra is a $20 game tops.
Yeah. It's
one of the best games on the NES. It's my favorite, but there's a bajillion of them out there. I had 7 one time. I gave one to one of my buddies because I was like, the guy I work with, he's like, I want to play my old Nintendo. I was like, man, you got to play this one. Best game ever. So I gave him a copy of Contra because it was everywhere. Every lot that I bought had Contra in it. And then all of a sudden, about 2012, 2013, something like that, it got to be like a $30 or $40 game. Those come down to, already come down to like 25, and it'll be 20. It might even make it down to like a $15 game when not everybody's buying games. People were blaming it on the hipsters for a while. But, yeah, hipsters, you got a mustache and can't change your tire. That was the thing about hipsters, right? They look like lumberjacks, but they couldn't change a tire.
That's funny.
Yeah.
They're
They're
imported
kind of
beers.
gone. They're gone now, right?
The hipsters.
No.
There's definitely less of them.
They're
I haven't
still
seen as
there.
many of them.
Come to Chicago.
There's
They're all here.
is that where they all went? Because
They're all in Logan Square eating their fucking ramen and.
Well, okay, I'm not going to turn down authentic ramen. I love that stuff. I mean, but still, I understand your frustration. But like, what I want to know is like, how are they able to walk in those tight ass jeans? I mean, seriously, those cannot be comfortable.
So
Like at all.
talk about hipsters and and trends of like collecting and retail sales. Okay, this is on the topic. They're getting into film photography. Thank you, good. Thank you for making film a thing again. I still do film, and someone sees a camera that's cool, and someone writes a blog about this camera, and the prices shoot up for that camera. Right now, there's like Bestseller Topcons. It's a shitty fucking camera that now they're selling for $150, $200, $300, where 2 years ago they were selling for like $50 for a piece of crap camera. There's these little.
Hey, it means more business for your store, though, right?
Yeah, but they fall apart. They break easily. They're shitty cameras.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna get on those guys. They were just there for whatever, like whatever's old was cool again. So yeah, you do you, kid. You do whatever you want to. But
Your money, do what you want with it.
People were talking about this mythical bubble that was going to burst, and people were these hoarders, the dirty resellers were going to be stuck with their $50 copy of Felix the Cat. Like, well, Felix the Cat's a pretty good game. It might come back down to $50, but you're not gonna get it for dirt cheap. You're not gonna get it for 20 like you did before. Little Samson will probably come down below $1,000, but it won't get down. Y'all write it down. Y'all can set when we're 70. You go, you're right, Sheriff. You knew it. Little Samson never got below $700.
Or on episode like 7,002 or something like that. Oh,
but,
by the way,
but when that age went, hey, it's $700. That's how much I pay for an apple now. Hey, inflation.
But it won't. The games that are there's enough collectors that are in this for the long haul, and there's enough interest that the games that are expensive, that are crazy expensive now, might come down a little bit, but they're not ever going to be $50 again.
Yeah.
Right?
Never. Little Samson. What's another? Flintstones 2.
Oh, I mean, well, just NES or anything.
Well, anything. Panzer Dragoon
Panzer
Saga
Saga
will never be $100 game.
No, I got mine for a damn good deal. The more I think about it, so
because I mean, people think that everybody's going to lose interest in these things, and they're not. It's not going to.
Video games, no one loses interest in video games.
If
I mean, even like with modern stuff, PS4. I mean, little kids are gonna enjoy like the PlayStation 5 and whatever else Xbox churns out. That whole thing. I mean, games are always going to be relevant. So
yeah, but games are really relevant. It's some other thing. Like as kids, we all did other collections too. Something I was gonna bring this up. The sports card market, how much that crashed.
Okay, the sports card market is a very good example because after 1987, about is when a lot of people started getting into it, and then it took a dump in 1993 with the strike. Correct?
I don't know.
Okay, but the problem was they were making more cards, more and more cards. There wasn't just Topps and Donruss and Bowman and Score. There was 15,000 different cards. You couldn't just go get a Ken Griffey Jr. card. There was 47 different versions of it. There was too many. Now, if you go back to say 1985 baseball cards, I don't know who would have been a rookie in 85. Jose Canseco was in 87. Yeah, anyways, but if you say a Michael Jordan rookie card, Michael Jordan was a rookie in 85, I think. And I believe that's right. So a Michael Jordan rookie card, there's a not an upper deck. There was a Score there. I don't remember who all did basketball cards that year, but it still holds its value because there's not a bajillion of them out there. There's not a whole slew of different types of cards. Now, this pertains to games because they're not making any more of these games. If they made 47 different copies of Little Samson, and then the one you had would have been the one that was hard to find would have been the expensive one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There was only one though. There was only one Flintstones 2, only one type of it. Now sports cards are worthless. People thought they were going to retire on them, in about 1991. They were crazy. There was stores that were just baseball card shops.
Yeah.
That's all they did. And that Kevin Ma's rookie card that you had from what was that? Classic. I think they're called Classic.
Yeah.
It was pink with like blue splatter on it. Anyways, you thought that was a $15 card. It's going to be expensive when we get older. You can't wipe your butt with that thing.
Well, A, it would hurt, and B, you're right.
I mean, it's worthless because people were buying those as an investment. Now, had they been buying Michael Jordan rookie cards as an investment, they would have made money.
Yeah.
But they were buying what was coming. It was the exact same thing as buying PS4 games, thinking they're going to be the next Little Samson.
Okay. Well,
it's
after all that rambling, that makes sense. That's what it kind of boils down to.
We're gonna say, Charles.
There are very few cards that are worth any money.
Absolutely.
It's like 1994, like a Ryan Sandberg rookie card was an $80 card. Now it's like a $20 card. Still got some value, but
really, it dropped out like a Ryan Sandberg. That would have been he would have been about an 85 model, right?
Yeah, that was 1983, 84.
Okay, so, but there weren't near as many people buying cards then.
Yeah,
like if you find any kind of Mickey Mantle card, it's going to be worth something because there was only like 3 different ones. 3 companies made baseball cards then.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. That's not.
You wore yourself out with that one, Turf.
I'm not sure I made a point. I think I made a point. In my mind, I made a point, but it may not ever come out of my mouth.
Well, I keep on cutting you off, Charles. What was that?
And the only way you get your cards to be worth any money is you get them graded. That's another thing. You get your games graded, then they go up.
Oh, don't get your games graded. That's a complete ripoff.
Yeah,
I really think about getting my Star Tropics graded. I have a sealed Star Tropics. I think I should get it graded.
If it's sealed, then it raises the price by like 500% for people who want to get graded.
But I think any like jackwagon can take some saran wrap and make it work. So
I've got a Battle Clash that's sealed. I wonder if I could get it graded.
Well, on that note, we are running out of time, my friends. So what I'm going to do is turn the floor over to Turf, and he's going to give our goodbye shtick.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
I mean, just focus.
Here's the reins, boy. Have at it. All right. If you enjoyed this episode of Our Parents' Basement, there's plenty more. Y'all just check right over there on the right-hand side, and you can see 96 other episodes of Our Parents' Basement. Now, this one's being number 97. It is going to be in 2 weeks on iTunes and Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, tuned in, not on Podbean, but wherever else you can find your audio only versions of podcasts. So if you check out the videos on YouTube, the audio only, that's where the real good stuff is. You can take us with you on the road. Man, I'm stumbling over my words.
Man, that wall dust or that sanding dust, whatever it is
man, it's working. It's working. I work a full-time job plus come home and then bust my hump until dark.
Go to that, man. Rest.
I know. I need a nap and drink. Anyways, if you want to get a hold of us, interact with us. I love hearing from y'all. We love hearing from y'all on at OPB Podcast on Twitter, Facebook.com/OPB Podcast. Those are the 2 easiest and best ways to hit us up. You can send me an email at opbpodcast@gmail.com. I've actually had a few people do that. It's kind of cool. So hit us up any of those places. Say what's up. Say hi. Tell us you love what we're doing. You hate what we're doing. What we need to do different. As long as it's not kill myself, I'll probably try.
If you send us one of those messages, we'll find you and kill you.
Well, no,
With
we'll
love.
just delete the email. That'd be
With
much
love.
easier.
Oh, well.
Yes, delete
fine,
the
we'll
email.
We will kill you with kindness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Kill them with
we'll-
kindness.
We'll kill you softly.
With
his love.
Love.
Be softly.
Well,
All
girl
right,
had
everyone.
pipes, right? Ooh, that girl had pipes.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you all very much for listening. Bring it back, guys. Bring it back. For listening
Yeah,
to
we
this
can keep
lovely
going.
episode or watching. And we'll be back next week with new topic, new stuff to talk about. And that's all I got. So we'll
All
see
right,
you soon.
guys. See y'all later. Deuces.
See you later.